Pick your hero. Or villain, I'm not judging.
Open your eyes. Reality is but an illusion.
You know, it's really shocking to see an Iron Fist and a Magic in the same lobby when we have one tank and one support. But you know, look at the statistics of the game. You know, they are statistically better than everyone else. I get it though. You know, Bob. You know, it's really just I've seen a lot of pros play the Magic Iron Fist, team up, even though they don't have one. But it's fine. See, Bob. If you look at the, at the team chat here, it's quite astonishing how people can take stuff so seriously.
Oh, wow.
Don't worry, champs. Maybe one day you'll see the ethereal plane. But Bob, if you look at at the stats of on Siege's profile, you can really just see that I really entrust him with the Iron Fist. His skin also really applies the fear in them.
3, 2, 1.
Incel, you have, see, I don't fall for your sticks and stone insults. I've been called way worse. It's really just it's not, as a spectator of this game, it's really just
I found a phone.
it's really just shocking. Oh, okay, so the score goal pick is a solid one. I will agree. It causes a lot of disruption in the game. The arches on the nuts aren't really that good. But the Emma pick though, that's a solid one. Really disrupts that Strange's momentum. Can't really go in. Step on the couch, your dick out. I feel like the Iron Fist is first man in, last man out kind of situation. The vibes really give me that. He's the other guy that sits on his phone for 5 hours on the toilet, playing Clash Royale or on TikTok, and then he gets texted by his homie to get back on.
Bro, mute yourself. You are a yapper. Nobody cares.
So I'm seeing a lot of not positivity on the team chat.
I haven't heard much of anything but you on the team.
Just look at the circle of that cloak, bubble. That was a really good cloak bubble on their part. Really caused, disruption for the enemy team. If you look at the map real quick, to our left, you can really see, that bubble really caused.
Bro, you're still going.
Zanny Phantom just couldn't handle, he got kicked out of the field. We got Yoda now. I really trust Yoda, to be, the herald of this game for this blue team.
Please stop talking.
Magic's really saying some stuff, not really, bringing the positive energy that the team needs to truly feel to win the game. As Emma's being oppressed to hell to Strange, I will say. Kyle, it's really just, just sad to see that. Big ult coming in. Oh, but the Strange died while he didn't use ult. That's a real shame by his part, Now he's gonna wait a whole decade to get his ult again.
Woo! I never miss. I have unfinished business here.
Well, the group pick's gonna be huge. 2 tanks, even more pressure for the enemy team, and then support to deal with that. The Luna ult is gonna be crazy. They're gonna cause no one dies. In 12 seconds. Solid use.
Your powers are mine.
Now we get to hear all these voice lines, from our amazing players that come to join the free game of Marvel Rivals. That cloak ult was really useful there. I will admit, really causing the back up, caused too much pressure because they can't get point back. And that Mantis all really helped out. Ooh, this Emerald's really gonna disrupt, the flow of the game because you can't ult in that, that area. In this blue team, if you look at the stats right now, we aren't doing very, they aren't doing very hot.
No, go ahead and change that back to Wii. You're 0-3-2.
I will say though, they have a lot of, they run the triple support comp. It's a very strong comp. The blue team really needs to, really to focus on, their supports. It's really just you know, just sad to see that, you know, blue team could have handled that really easily, you know, causing more disruption on the team, on the enemy team, you know.
All those crises I quietly put out, you have opened your eyes. Reality is but an illusion.
"30 seconds before you attack. Get ready."
You know, it's really, you know, looking back at the team chat, you know, for blue team, they're really just, you know, trying to tear down one of the, you know, their strangest, you know, positivity. You know, he's always that, you know, he's always that guy who always tries to bring a good mood to a, you know, to a face. You know, he always puts a smile on someone.
4, 3, 2, 1.
See, I don't know why they're immune to the strange guy. You know, he's got great comms. You know, he's got great, you know, great info on the battlefield. You know,
I don't think I could handle the pressure of the dark force.
it's a real shame. You know, it's a real shame. You know, that the enemy team is really just trying, you know, to shut out someone's, you know, someone's comms and someone's, you know, input on the team. You know, you really think about it, this high ground is really good for, you know, this for the Hela and other stuff.
Yours to capture now.
Ooh, that stun was amazing by the Hela. You know, really caused him to back up. Ooh, that grab was amazing on an Emma, we'll say. You know, champs, it's always okay. You know, losing happens. You know, losing is part of life. When you lose, you know. See, this blue team is really understanding, you know, that mentality. And then oh, the Cloaco comes out, causes more problems. But our Cloak, or the Cloak on the blue team, you know, counters that all with his ult. You know, and now we got like 8 seconds of no one doing anything. Ooh, the Luna ult is gonna go crazy on that. You know, really gonna cause more problems for that. You know, for the red team. You know, Bob, you run the map right there on the left. And you know what, I agree with that, you know, those big ass circles that are on the screen. You know, ooh, the BP going in the dive, you know, taking care of the supports that need to be taken care of. The strange ult, getting that Emma, you know, disrupts her, you know, flow of, you know, of energy. BP tech and the strange, you know, that's a new one, Bob. You know, if you look at the math real quick, truly is astonishing. Ooh, that score girl on the top is gonna be a problem. Maybe one of the blue teams could take care of that one. Alright. One of the blue team DPS died. It's fine. We're all good. Yoda's sad for some reason. You know. I don't know why he's sad. You know, the blue team just got the.
I'm fucking crying, boy. Fucking being sad. Yo, bro. He said that's a new one, Bob.
You know, it's really just the same, you know, that people have to be so mean to their teammates. You know, the strains, you know, giving good comms, you know, to help out, you know, with the team. But you know, the team that he has is not, you know, being very cohesive, not being cooperative. You know, he's just trying to help out a bit. But you know, he gets wiped because our team had to back up away from, you know, from the point. Don't worry, champs. Maybe one day you'll get to the ethereal plane in heaven. You know, Bob. I haven't seen that one before. You know, pushing without your tank. That's a new one. Which, you know, maybe it's a way for them to cause destruction.
Fuck! I'm so fucked.
You know, that was a, you know, you know, Kyle.
W.O.
When that Cloak and Dagger ulted right there, you know, it must have been a misinput on the controller. And that really could have, you know, helped out the team a lot. You know, the strange, you know, Ivago that Mantis kills her and tries out the Score Girl. Fails ultimately, you know, it was a really close call for that kill. And then we got Wolverine, you know, he's waiting for the team, he's just waiting there. Oh, he's gonna go in, And probably get grabbed by
You'll
Emma.
have to keep
You know, because,
fighting
you know,
until we
she's
have a
oppressive
winner.
when it comes to that stuff. Oh no, the wall gets him. Okay. Well, it looks like orange. It looks like red team's gonna take the win. And, you know, really just.
Maybe
Really
next time
take that
shut the
home.
hell up so your team can focus on the game.
You know, Bob. You know, Bob is the new one.
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
I'm just gonna report them, dude. I'm just gonna report them for voice chat because I was just giving comms. Like, it was dumb comms, but it was comms. GG. Lol. I was just here, man. Report our strange, to be honest. All because I spork on. It's fucking quick play. What do you mean? All I did is sports comms. Oh yeah. Truthful, yes. No, see, hold on. Can I save that game? Cry when he, cry when the game barely started. I'm nosy. Tell me more. I just did sports com. I just I'll invite this guy. Can I invite him? Here, I'll leave.